Imagine a world where aliens, they've landed on Earth, but they leave as quickly as they've arrived, and the spots they landed on, there's a few around the Earth, the spots they've landed on, they turn into these mysterious and dangerous zones, which contain all kinds of strange objects and phenomena, things that could easily further human science very rapidly. Now, I bet many people, governments and non-government organizations alike, would be desperate to get their hands on these kinds of objects, desperate enough that a black market becomes available about these objects in the zone, and people who go grab them illegally are called stalkers. And we follow the story of one of these stalkers in Roadside Picnic by the Strugatsky brothers. And this book's world building and the main driving concept of the zones themselves is easily one of the most interesting ideas I've read from a science fiction book. It really manages to capture what might be happening within these zones, and it's really something about aliens landing and then leaving as quickly as they've landed and leaving, just that obviously these mysterious zones which have these mysterious objects in them. It's all super interesting. Unfortunately, I don't think the book really manages to capture what I think could have been a great potential for a story. I think the execution of the book doesn't take full advantage of the brilliant setup and world building that it gives itself. I just think it could have done a lot more with the zones and the objects inside. I think maybe I was hoping for more of a tone, which I think maybe I was just expecting more of an adventure type story, but it was just a bit slower than I was expecting. And I was kept engaged constantly throughout, because they were sort of different scenes and discussions, and like they were philosophical discussions about the zones, like why the aliens came, stuff like that. And it does keep me interested, and as you know, new pieces of information and lore about the zones are dropped in little pieces as we go on in the book. But I just think this book could have been a wild ride, and it wasn't. But I think that's what I was expecting, and maybe it's my fault for expecting something that this book wasn't ever intending to be. I just feel like the book never really capitalizes on its premise. But that being said, I'm excited to see the film that adapts this book called Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. It's a Russian film. But the book itself, it was decent. It was maybe even good, but I just wasn't truly falling in love with it, whereas I was really, really hoping to. It won't end up as one of my favorites in the sci-fi genre, but I am excited to see it adapted for the big silver screen.